evil, as a logical Christian and a logical atheist, I believe, will agree, cannot be a positive existence. So, the reason why I've written down, and I think I will either delineate, synopsize, or merely read off of this for today. So, good and evil. From a discussion that I had with one of my Christian friends, good and evil seem to be bifaceted, at least according to his view, like the two sides of the same coin. So now, of course, I need to grab a coin. Oh, that coin has seen better days. So, one side of the coin is good and one side of the coin is evil. These are both similarly equally powerful and almost on the same level with God, which I shall represent with, as I no longer have any quarters on me, a dime. Keep in mind I'm using value, not size. So they're similarly on the same level, but this is a bifaceted kind of idea. Nevertheless, it is beyond, again, the two facets are the experiential side, something that can be experienced, empirical, felt, viewed, etc. When you think of evil in this world, that is this side of the coin. The other side of the coin then incorporates what is beyond comprehension, or as it seems my friend explicated this, beyond knowledge. So, just like God is beyond knowledge, or the entirety of God is beyond knowledge, there is also a side of evil that is beyond our own understanding. However, it can also be experienced. And although a Christian will say that he or she has experienced Christ, this person will never say that this person has experienced the totality of Christ. This person has more like experienced something given by God or God-given, not God himself. However, evil can be experienced. Not something of evil, but evil itself. It is not a sentient being that gives it little pieces of itself as exemplifications of its true power. So it can be experienced. It can be experienced and is beyond our own capabilities and understandings. That's ridiculous. Why? Well, good and evil, according to the Parmenidean kind of requirements for an object, something that is beyond the capabilities of empirical humans, something that is great, the one, almost, in that kind of line that I used with coins. Those things must be infinite, indivisible, unchanging, static, eternal, indivisible. These are the three requirements I could recall off the top of my head. So they'll do. And how can evil be both sides of the coin of being static, external, or static, eternal, and indivisible, and at the same time be temporally and gradiently felt? That doesn't make sense. It cannot be both. It just does not work. Even if you use this idea that it is two sides of a coin, the two sides of a coin share similarities. The only similarity that this evil would have is that it is nominated evil. That's not enough. Giving something a name does not give it actual validity. I am not God because I say that I am. Darn. So that doesn't make any sense that they could possibly be the same and yet completely different. So, they are either experienced or beyond comprehension. And again, beyond comprehension, as far as I understood with my friend, the discussion with my friend, means that it is something we cannot understand. It is on a level in the great spiritual battle with Lucifer and God, and good and evil, and those are synonymous and always combating, but something beyond what we can understand. We are below that level of intelligence. So good and evil are beyond that. But I have never once in my life met a Christian or any Western religious believer who believes in evil who says that evil cannot be experienced here, that it is something purely separate from us. I've never met somebody who claims that it is distant. It is experienced here in this world. Evil exists here, so it cannot be beyond comprehension. Now, of course, if there is a religious view that does believe that evil is beyond comprehension, well, I suppose this entire case would just kind of unravel. But I really don't think that the creation of religion will say that any evil exists beyond what we view. So, anyway, it's clearly experienced. Let me see, what did I write? Therefore, let us assume that evil then is not beyond our mensurable experiential capabilities. It is not on an equal plane with God and cannot exist infinitely, thus making it conceivable. So, God created evil. Only things that God has created are experienced on earth. That's argument number one, or support number one. And then I also used Descartes' cause and effect. So anything that exists in what feels to be incomprehensible must originate with something infinite. This infinite, indivisible thing cannot be evil because, again, if you speak with any Christian, evil originated with the fall of Satan or the fall of Eden, Adam, Eve, with Eve eating the apple, and it will eventually terminate. So it is temporal, it has a specific genesis and termination. It is not infinite. So what is infinite and indivisible? God. It can be traced back to God. The origin of evil, such a thing as can be infinite and indivisible according to Christian belief, is only God. And yet that is how evil is meant to be created, or that is how evil originated, with something that can only be given by God. So, good and evil can be experienced, or if only good and evil can experience, if good and evil exist and can be experienced, only God could have created them. So this means that God would have had to create evil if it were a positive existence. So, now I may not be an erudite on religion, nevertheless, I do think it is safe to assume that Christians do not believe that evil was created by the omnibenevolent God. So, I'm not necessarily saying that I have completely disproven Christianity, because it has a very easy refutation of simply saying that a free will exists and that evil is a negative concept. That there is good and for God's will, and then there is evil and against God's will. And that is how good and evil actually exist. That Lucifer's fall and Eve eating the apple was not actually an evil act as a positive existence, but merely going against God's will. So with that, there is still a possibility for an omnibenevolent God, as of course Augustine believed. But I think we can safely assume now, if we have not already, that evil cannot be a positive concept. It is not a positive existence. I hope this was clear. I hope that this makes sense, that this was very logical, that there were no gaps, and if there were, or if you have any argument for or against this, please comment, subscribe, and I suppose that's all. Thank you.